This is a Tracking the Tropics update with a certified most accurate weather team at First Coast News.
Well, it is that time. We have Talking Tropics out here, and our latest named storm, this is the 13th named storm of 2025, Tropical Storm Melissa. Meteorologist Robert Spetta, meteorologist Lee Southwick.
Hi.
And today we're going to talk about this, a few other things kind of on the planner here, but this is the latest information on Melissa. So
what a crazy looking cone. Let's just start with that because that's probably what everyone is thinking.
Yeah, so fill us in here, Lee. So what's going on here?
All right, so remember a cone from the National Hurricane Center is anywhere the center of the storm could be. So when you have a very wide cone, it means there's a lot of uncertainty in where it's going. That's what's happening right now. Now, in a couple of minutes, Robert's going to break down for you what the GFS says versus what the European says versus some other models that we've looked at, AI models, all of this stuff. It has... The models are all over the place. Some turn it to the north quickly and have it pass over Hispaniola. That's why the cone includes places like Haiti. Other models take it to the west and then curve it. That's why it also has to include Jamaica and Cuba, because they're all possible scenarios with a lot of uncertainty. We just don't know which and where it's going to go at this moment. So that is why it is a fat cone. Now, what we do think, and you can see kind of with the center lines and those icons, what is likely to happen is that it will continue to move to the west some and then turn to the north and then maybe go west again and then go north and then go northeast. Robert, this could be quite a crazy track.
It sounds like you're just making it up
and
there.
Then we're gonna go
like,
here,
it's
and
going
then
to
we're
go
gonna go
this
left.
and that way.
You know, it's like when you give directions on the side of the road. It's like, yeah, you're going to go east and then west and then north. And, you're like,
and this is my grandma out here just going like, huh?
What?
Like,
but you can kind of see like west to north and they kind of take that west turn again. But we do know at some point it's going to be picked up and turned to the north and northeast. So I think it's important to say here for our viewers at First Coast News right now, no models make this a direct threat to us here on the First Coast. It does turn it away, but there's a lot of uncertainty with this, so we're going to watch it very closely.
And another thing you kind of point out here too is how slow it's going, right?
Yes.
So that 5 day, I mean, we're looking out to Saturday, and this doesn't move very much. And I think it also goes back into what Lee was just talking about, the slow nature of this and how maybe it might turn towards the northeast, get out of here by mid to late week over the Hispaniola here, or drifts towards the west and it just extends out this time frame. Now, I do know this hasn't updated. I put up a new graphics here, but I did see from the National Hurricane Center, at least put out a bulletin on it, that Haiti is under a hurricane watch at this time, and Jamaica is under a tropical storm watch. So those two countries out there under the advisories already at this point. And then you can see here with a tropical tracker, I think this is kind of interesting. First thing we should do, we started off with the forecast here, but it's always look at the satellite. Mm-hmm. And one thing I've noticed here compared to what we were looking at the last few days, Lee, is that this has edged a little bit further towards the south where that low-level center is being formed up. Can you explain to the viewers why that's kind of important?
That will depend on where this goes in the track, and that is why I don't want to speak for you, Robert, but just with the conversation we had earlier, I think we're on the same page. We would think it goes more to the west first. So if this center of circulation is more to the south, then it's not going to be picked up by a trough that we're watching. That trough is what the GFS is leaning on to have it turn to the north quickly, cross over Hispaniola, and get out into the Atlantic. Now, what's happening here looks like it would be lining up maybe a little bit more with the European model, where it would continue to travel to the west before taking that turn to the north.
And that actually shows up on this graphic right here. I kind of threw together, explaining really quickly and in a simple form of what Lee just said as it loads. There we go. There, we got it. All right. So
nice.
the area in the white would be that churn towards the north. That would be what the GFS model, right, has been kind of pulling up on this. And further towards the west, the Euro, a couple other models have been kind of suggesting it lingering around Jamaica. Now, neither one of these is exactly what's going to happen. I'm going to tell you that right now, but I'm just kind of showing you the threshold and what we're looking at here and why there is that range of uncertainty. And don't take just our word for it. Take some of the numerical guidance. This I call
I hate this.
It really is. I'm gonna say it. It's spaghetti vomit. That's what it is. It's just, and because this is why we call it a spaghetti plateau. Is it looks like somebody took spaghetti and threw it at the wall. All these like circles and squigs here. The lighter white is the Euro. The orange is the GFS, and I mean, if you can't even say one model says one thing or the other because they're both absolutely split here, Lee.
It's a hot mess. Now, do you know how many days out this model goes? Is it the next 7 days or beyond?
I'm not sure. I think it's 5 on this.
Okay, so that would explain more why right here, just to the naked eye from far away where I'm looking at, it looks like more models are heading towards Hispaniola or Cuba and not as much to turn to the north. And so more to the west and the north.
I get what you're saying.
But I think that's because when you extend it out more 7, 8, 9 days, more of those take it over central Cuba, maybe a Bahamas problem, and then out into the Atlantic.
And I just like the swirls, and it, like right around where this first forms up. I mean, it really does indicate every time you see these like little swirls on the spaghetti plots, that's more or less indicating the model showing that it kind of is going to stall out and just do its thing in one spot. That could be good for upwelling. Maybe it might pull up some cooler waters from down below, kind of set it off here. But
I would also love to pick your brain really quick. Ooh. It does have the cone. The cone does have Melissa strengthening into a Cat 1 hurricane. But by the end of the week, what are your thoughts on it strengthening faster than that?
I'm a little, I wouldn't say worried, but I am concerned a little bit that of some rapid intensification. Only because, I mean, if we go back to the satellite picture, it has that look. Trying to pull it up right now, and I'll explain why. But we have good outflow aloft. You can see just towards the north here. With this more southerly track, it's avoiding shear over Florida and the Bahamas area. And on top of that, when we look at this, the sea surface temperatures just towards the west of that low-level center are into the high 80s out here, Lee. So what are your thoughts? I mean,
I completely agree with you. I'm afraid it's going to become a hurricane faster than what they call for. So I think don't be surprised watching at home if it becomes a hurricane faster. It organized pretty quickly out there. And, as it meanders, it will be feeding off that warm water. Now, what Robert said about the upwelling would save it from becoming too massive of a storm. If it continues to move slow, it's going to run out of energy to essentially eat out of the water. And so in the meantime, the Caribbean has been untouched all hurricane season.
This is true.
And so it is there's so much heat there for a hurricane to feed off of that I am worried that it could strengthen a bit faster than what the National Hurricane Center is saying in their cone. They are very smart meteorologists. I trust their forecasts, but it could potentially strengthen a little bit faster.
And even goodness gracious, even in their advisory, though, their forecast discussion, they do emphasize the uncertainty. So I think that also is them alluding to the fact that this could become stronger quicker. As we all know, the intensity forecast is one of the harder things to forecast for. But not to say it's going to become a Cat 5 tomorrow, just saying take the intensity, especially with a warning number 1 outlook, with not a grain of salt, but just take it under advisement. Like, just know that it's probably going to change here. I think that's my big takeaway from that here, Lee.
I agree. And I also, I think now that we have a defined center of circulation, models are going to get a better grip on this, not only for strength but and intensity, but for track too. So hopefully the cone isn't as fat here in the coming days, and I don't think it will be in the coming days, but hopefully this time tomorrow when we're talking, we'll have a better looking cone and a better intensity forecast.
Hopefully it kind of slims it out a little
bit.
Until
Put it on a diet.
This is what we kind of talked about, though, with the GFS pulling it towards the north. And you can see the Euro kind of coming on its heels a little bit slower. And this just shows that range, right? It just kind of that split there. And it's not until like even later this week.
I'm glad you're pointing out the time, because as I look at that, you're talking about Sunday. We're talking about several days away.
Yeah, I mean, today's Tuesday. So this would be 5 days out, 4 or 5 days out at this point near Haiti.
A mess. Those models right there are showing it's still a tropical storm and not a hurricane. So I assume that's why they're also keeping the cone weaker. It's just showing it as like a messy system, a messy tropical storm down there in the Caribbean.
Well,
then it wraps up and strengthens.
Well, let's nail down some of these models a little bit. Now, remember, this is 11 o'clock on Tuesday, so as Lee just pointed out, hopefully tomorrow they get a little bit more accurate. But this is the Euro showing it closer
Bringing it
to
more
Jamaica.
to the west, and then, near Jamaica, and then over Cuba, and then the Bahamas.
And then we got the GFS, which kind of does that turn towards north. One thing I noticed, though, in both scenarios is the heavy rainfall across Hispaniola and Jamaica, maybe eastern areas of Cuba. So even if you don't get those hurricane watches and warnings, you still got to be looking out for that threat of at least some flooding rains in a few of these areas. I'm not going to show a rainfall accumulation graphic because that would just be...
It would just cover the whole thing. Yeah. You don't really know.
And I don't think it's going to be even remotely accurate. Too.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It would be all of it. Because they're just like, well, you could get... Puerto Rico, you could get it, but Jamaica, you could get it. And they're going to make it equal, and it's not going to be equal, depending on its path.
Yeah. And then I do also want to point out climatology for this time of year often shows these storms turning towards north. Because I've already been asked that, well, can it keep tracking west? And yeah, it could. But just with the jet streams dipping down and everything kind of in mid to October, that's unlikely. It's likely going to get turned towards north. Eventually here, the question is timing.
Yeah.
So
where and when? When determines where.
Well, this is the why, at least. And there you can see kind of the dry air spilling in with the Canadian high. And you have this big old trough. You see where the line marks it right there, right? Just around the Bahamas, south of Florida. And that is your tropical wall. In short, any tropical system, even if it's a tropical depression or a Cat 5 monster, it's going to hit this kind of line, right? You can see the line right there. It'll hit that and just get sheared and turned towards the north. The tropical systems are not going to want to go towards the north of that, which is good news for Jacksonville on the first coast, right? We're going to be... I'm not really concerned about here unless this whole front kind of lifts off towards the north and we don't, if it lingers down there long enough and this moist air and the jet stream all lifts towards the north, that could change things up, which is also a very real possibility.
Yeah, the longer it hangs out in the Caribbean, the more of a concern it would be to the state of Florida. Not saying, like directly here on the first coast, but it would be something that it would get our attention more. We'd watch it closer. So the state of Florida, more of a concern the longer it just hangs out in the Caribbean.
Yeah, so that's something we're going to watch over the next few days here with Melissa. I do want to pop up the 7-day for Jacksonville in the first coast, just to show everybody watching from our local area, what's the weather like. And it's not bad here, Lee. Lee, let you go through this because I know you've been looking at this. You're going to be on First Coast News at noon in just a few minutes, so get you a little practice run through here on the 7-day.
All right, well, since we're streaming, and one reason why we do this is we like this conversation with you at home and to be transparent. Robert, I will tell you what I was looking at and about to tweak potentially right before the new newscast. And let's have this discussion since you have been watching this closely too. Thursday morning, the lows have been anywhere from 49 to 53. I was going to bump it to 50 for Jacksonville, which means 40s for those of you further inland, and then 50s, mid to upper 50s for some of you along the coast. I do think Thursday is our coldest morning, but how cold does it get? Do we reach the 40s at the airport? I think it's possible, but I think it's going to be really close, Robert.
I think we'll hit it.
Okay, I like that.
And the reason is because it feels like the forecast has been trending cooler. For example, this morning we hit 54.
Right.
That was cooler than what a lot of the models were indicating. So I'm, and plus we were just showing that water vapor, that very cool, dry air. As long as we got clear skies overnight, my only kind of hold back from that is how warm it gets on Wednesday. If we do actually get up to the mid 80s, it might not be enough time to cool down to the 40s. But I'm team 49.
I like that. Okay, then you know what? I won't touch it for the noon. We'll keep
it.
Let's do it.
Be your confidence.
No, I like
Jacob
this.
versus Edward. Team 40s versus 50s here.
Jacob versus Edward. What's your team?
Oh, I was Team Jacob all the way.
Oh, me too. Okay, good. We see
like-
we're on the same team, so we'll just go.
Team Jacob. Edward's he's a bad relationship, and Jacob helps you fix your car. He's a good guy.
He is a good guy.
As a dad, I would be Team Jacob.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
As a teenage girl during Twilight, I was Team Jacob.
I just imagine Bella's dad sitting at home, just like
Charlie. Charlie was
Charlie.
Bella's dad.
I'm sorry. He's like, man, I'm not gonna tell her what to do, but
He wanted Jacob too.
yeah.
We were all Team Jacob. Okay, back to the weather.
So if you are Team 40s here, the last time we hit 49 degrees was April 17th. That was 148 days ago, I believe. So it's been a hot minute.
April 17th. I like how you put it there twice. To really
I
nail
thought
it
I
home.
wrote 148 days, but I wrote April 17th twice because I hadn't had my coffee yet.
We
But-
all understand that. That's fine.
But you can, yes, it gets the point across.
I like that you have the number still on the top of your head, though. 148, you said?
Yes.
Wow.
I'm going with that.
Okay. Hey Siri. No, I don't like the 40s, so I'm not thrilled about this. When I say Team 40s, that I'll join you in Team 40s, it's I will join you in that forecast that will hit 49 at the airport. I do not like it. Like I
No
like
one
Jacob.
likes the 40s. The 40s are the worst temperature, and hear me out, because if it rains, it's just cold and horrid and terrible. If it's in the lower 30s, you at least got some snow to go with it.
Even at like 36, 37,
Yeah.
some things are happening.
Right?
More interesting.
And then you can get out your nice winter jacket. You can be comfy. 40s, it's kind of like, I wear a sweater, but I'm not going to.
I wear my winter jacket in the 40s.
It's the worst temperature.
It is.
Give me winter or give me summer. I don't like the middle ground. As a meteorologist, I hate you 40s. No.
Even though we just told you we were Team 40s, we do not like you.
Okay. All right. I don't know how people are going to compare that
is our
with
soapbox.
Jacob. All right. So
Actually, I mean, do you want me to get into the Twilight lore? Because Edward was the cold one and Jacob was the warm
Oh,
one.
jeez.
Like for real, that's their body temperature. Welcome to a podcast on Twilight.
This
Here we
is
go.
supposed to be about a tropical storm.
Okay, and
I do
now
want to know tonight, by the way, is October 21st. I asked Lee this bit of trivia too, since we're already talking movies.
You're right. Look at that segue. We're
October
sticking with movies.
21st, 2015 is also the day Marty McFly went into the future to save his son a decade ago.
Yeah.
Marty McFly went to the future.
On this date in 2015.
Ouch.
We're that old.
Yes,
That's crazy.
I remember just waiting for that day to come, like hoverboard, flying cars, just all of that. Self-zipping shoes.
But you know what we do have is better forecast for meteor showers.
Okay, way to get me back on topic here. The Orionid meteor shower is taking place tonight. It's also a new moon, so if you don't twilight it, okay?
That was literally the second book. Are you kidding?
It's also a new moon.
Then we're back full circle.
So that's good for watching meteors 10 to 20 per hour in dark skies. If you're in the city, you might get one bright fireball an hour if you're lucky. You look towards the constellation Orion, which if you're not, it's some of the brightest, easiest spot constellation. But if you go out after midnight, when you should go out, because that's when the Earth kind of rotates into the tail of Halley's Comet, which, by the way, it's Halley's Comet, one of the famous comets. So the Earth basically drives through the debris, the tail left over from when it passed in 1986. I spelled imaged wrong. That's fantastic. It's going to drive through that. And that's what kind of creates the meteor shower, right? So you go after midnight as the Earth rotates, and you think of Earth in a three-dimensional space, so as the Earth rotates and drives through that, it's like you're looking before midnight, you're looking out the back window of a car. After midnight, you're looking out the front window and you're about to drive through like a swarm of bugs. So that's why it picks up after midnight. It's not just because it's darker that helps, but it's also because of where you're looking in relation to the Earth in three-dimensional space as it goes through this debris field. So hopefully you'll be able to get out there and spot it. I think we're going to have some bright fireballs. It's going to be kind of cool to see. And yeah, little space, little science information for you there.
You got to get out there before we have breaking dawn. Hey, when's the next eclipse? Since February, I did look it up at least before I asked that question.
I can't. Anyway,
You put new moon on a graphic.
thank goodness the storm's named Melissa, not
Edward, Jacob,
Edward,
Bella, Charlie.
What was her daughter's name?
I
thought it was like
no.
Maybe it was
Renesmee.
Renesmee. Okay, all right, not Melissa.
Renee and Okay, never mind. No,
Anyways,
I'm failing.
Tropical Storm Melissa, named here at 11 o'clock from the National Hurricane Center. We got to watch this one closely. No threat to the First Coast, but could be a big rainmaker out here in the Caribbean. So always going to do our best to keep you posted here at First Coast News.
Yeah, just check back in with us with each update. Hopefully that cone gets better because our models are going to get a better grip on it now that it has a defined center of circulation. Unfortunately, I do think no matter where it goes, some of those Caribbean islands are going to see impacts from this. Definitely heavy rain. We'll have to keep an eye on how strong those winds get, storm surge, and all of that stuff.
All right. Well, with that said, we'll hope everybody's having a good day out there, and we'll continue to keep you posted here at First Coast News. Make sure you watch First Coast News at noon, 5, 6, 7, and 11. We'll have the latest updates. Next update actually is going to come out at 5, so we'll have it right at the top of that show.
And also, Chief Meteorologist Lewis Turner will be doing a stream today at 4:30 with, is it Dr. Rick Knabb from the National Hurricane Center?
That's right. It's Tuesday.
On the tropics, yes. And our sister station in Tampa joins in on that too. So
that's a must-watch TV right there.
Absolutely. 4:30 p.m. Stream it here. You'll get the latest on the tropics from experts.
All right. Thanks for stopping. Not that we're not experts.
We are experts.
But he's
good.
But
other experts.
He's an expert I look up to. So good
he worked at the National Hurricane Center, so he could probably really explain what's going on with the cone and their thought process.
Exactly. All right. Have a good day.